Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat. To subscribe and leave your like. The Miami Heat are in need of some new additions this summer. The current roster cannot be relied upon to challenge for a championship. Miami is likely 2 or 3 players away from being a top-tier team. Pat Riley must decide whether to pursue immediate success or build toward the long term. If Riley chooses to pursue a sustained period of contention, he must add some young, high-upside talent. In a recent article for Bleacher Report, Trey Murphy III of the New Orleans Pelicans was cited as one of the Heat's dream trade targets. Murphy, 24, is a multi-talented forward with plenty of room to improve. This past season, he averaged 21.2 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. He shot 45.4% from the field and 36.5% from three-point range. The Pelicans would be highly unlikely to part with Murphy via a trade. However, he is exactly the sort of talent the Heat should be looking to acquire. A trio of Murphy, Tyler Herro, and Bam Adebayo would be exciting to watch. Nevertheless, the Heat would still need more depth in order to be a contending team. Heat reportedly hold interest in DeMar DeRozan. If Riley decides to chase instant success, he will likely target a veteran talent. Brett Siegel of Clutch Points recently pinpointed DeMar DeRozan as a potential target for the Heat. It is highly unlikely that all three of Duncan Robinson, Terry Rozier, and Andrew Wiggins begin the 2025-26 season on Miami's roster, Siegel reported. DeMar DeRozan is once again viewed by other teams as a potential target for Riley and the Heat. DeRozan is a proven commodity in the NBA. He's an elite mid-range scorer, can create for himself and others, and is capable of leading a high-level offense. The veteran scorer played in 77 games last season. He averaged 22.2 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 4.4 assists. DeRozan would quickly fit into the Heat's style of play and would be a strong replacement for Jimmy Butler. Heat must make use of free agency, too. Not only will the Heat need to add high-level talent via trade, they must also be smart with how they approach the free agency period. Bailey Bassett of Clutch Points has cited Westbrook as a potential target for the Heat once he becomes available. Nobody would question Westbrook's hustle, work ethic, or competitiveness, Bassett wrote. All of these factors make him a solid free agency fit for the Miami Heat. Westbrook is unlikely to sign for more than the veteran minimum, and adding good players for cheap has to be something that would intrigue the Heat. Westbrook would be a smart addition for the Heat. They've needed a reliable ball handler for years. Riley is one of the few front office members in the NBA who isn't put off by a player's age. As such, Westbrook could find a logical home on South Beach. Furthermore, smart pickups in free agency will allow Riley to round out Eric Spoelstra's roster. A potential influx of Westbrook, DeRozan, and some other veterans could rapidly position the Heat back in the mix for a championship. Of course, chasing veteran talent in this way is a short-term fix. Still, it would appear Riley is okay with taking a short-term approach to success. If the Sacramento Kings end up moving DeMar DeRozan, one seemingly likely destination for him would be the Miami Heat. Firstly, let's go through why the Kings moving him is something that should be considered likely to happen. DeRozan was originally dealt to Sacramento in July of 2024 via the sign-and-trade deal that sent Harrison Barnes to San Antonio. Having DeMar on this Kings roster made sense at first, but a lot changed after Sacramento's 2025 trade deadline and the addition of Zach LaVine. With De'Aaron Fox out of town, the team all of a sudden looked a lot different. Now, you have DeRozan and LaVine as your primary ball handlers and shot creators. Those two are obviously talented scorers, so having them handle your offense is far from the worst option. With that being said, Sacramento should not be trying to simply avoid the worst option, they should actively be seeking the best options. The bottom line is that with LaVine and DeRozan leading the offense, the Kings look an awful lot like the 2022-23 Chicago Bulls. And let's be honest, that team was the epitome of average basketball. DeRozan on the Miami Heat makes sense. Sacramento needs to be moving intentionally in the direction of working to become a strong playoff contender once again. Veterans are a necessity, especially in this day and age. But there are simply better options than ball-dominant players like Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. So with that in mind, who makes the most sense to move? I would argue it's DeRozan, given that he has 2 years remaining on his current contract, and LaVine only has 1. As we begin to think about the best trade partners in a hypothetical DeRozan deal, the Heat make a lot of sense given their roster needs. Now living in the post-Jimmy Butler era, Miami is in severe need of scoring power. Who better to fill that need than an ultra-polished scorer like DeMar DeRozan? Number 10 has 25,292 points to his name in his NBA career, and he's been selected as an All-Star 6 times. Put simply, the guy knows how to put the ball in the basket. If Sacramento could work out a deal with Miami to send DeRozan down to South Florida, it would have the potential to be a win-win for everyone. The Kings just don't really need DeMar's scoring punch like they did before, and the Heat could end up as the beneficiary of this circumstance. The Miami Heat, whose future is muddied by a tough cap/tax situation as well as the obvious roster concerns, have some decisions this offseason. Jovan Buha, who covers the Los Angeles Lakers for The Athletic, mentioned a particular Heat starter as a potential trade candidate for the Lakers. I think Wiggins. If the Lakers are looking to address the wing need on the trade market, Wiggins is a guy that I like a lot, and you can get there probably with some base of Rui Hachimura, plus matching salary, Buha said. For me, any trade where the Lakers can add a rotation player and not give up one of their top 6, I would say, the line for me starts at Gabe, where I'd be willing to give him up for an upgrade. So I have not heard specifically Wiggins, but he is the type of target that would make sense for them. The Heat acquired Wiggins, 30. As a part of the Jimmy Butler trade. Wiggins missed almost as many regular season games as he played for the Heat. When he played, he averaged 19 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 3.3 assists. His production greatly declined in the first-round loss against the Cleveland Cavaliers. For the Heat, acquiring someone like Hachimura could be interesting despite some of his limitations. He's 3 years younger than Wiggins and on an expiring contract this season.